the GOAT. He the GOAT, bro.
We are live on YouTube. Sure, YouTube.
Yo, are we live? Oh, shit, hold on. Testing. Soccer.
Mic check, 1, 2. All right. Good morning and welcome to Between the Lines, brought to you live from our Body Armor Coca-Cola studios at USA Today's #1 ranked sports bar in the nation, Ferg Sports Bar and Grill. My name is Tristan. I'm joined here by my co-host Jake, and we're here today to give you an in-depth rundown on sports everywhere. But before we jump into the broad topic, there's a lot to discuss with the Tampa Bay Rays baseball team. We were both there yesterday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, for the Rays Block Party Fan Fest that was out there on 16th and kind of the corners of First Avenue South there. And I mean, it was a great event.
I mean, man, are we lonely? Valentine's Day, spending it with, Ian Seymour and Ryan Pepio. That's how I want to be spending my Valentine's Day every single year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be calling that lonely at all. I feel like that's one of the best ways you can spend.
Hey, if you think about it, we really had the most amount of Valentines, because think about how many people were there. All celebrating the same thing. We're all celebrating Tampa Bay Rays baseball, and I mean, we were there part of it. So if anything, we had the most amount of Valentines out of anybody.
I mean, honestly, yeah, that's the best way to look at it, especially when you're part of such a good community that they're trying to rip away from us, taking the stadium to Hillsborough. But, I don't hate it. There's so much to talk about there, so much news regarding that has come out in the last the last week or so. But yeah, a great show for you today. So much jam-packed, discussion to be had. But yeah, really the main topic. Everyone looked so good at the Rays Fan Fest. Obviously, when you say looked good, I'm literally
Thank you. I appreciate it, bro.
I'm literally just talking about. I'm mainly talking about the players, but when I say looked good, I mean just looked like happy, like morale wise. Everyone looked up. Spirits were high. Everyone's definitely happy to be back at the Trop. You felt it there. They had a camera that was up doing interviews, like side street interviews that was set up by the Rays that we went by. We should have got. I saw the clip after the fact.
Yeah, and it was it was the lady that was literally next to us when we were doing it. It was that little kid, I remember.
Yeah.
We are about 2 feet off camera of the Rays video with the little kid, if you want to go watch that.
Yeah, Jake specifically remembers a little kid. I don't know why. But
I remember a lot of things.
Yeah, it was a jam-packed event, Valentine's Day, so much going on there. But yeah, it was an incredible event overall. So much to take away from it. Saw Tom Kresnicki, saw everyone there over 95.3 WDAE. They are quickly going to 95.7 here soon, I believe. I mentioned that we did film the Rays Fan Fest, so do expect some type of content revolving that coming out in the next few days, next week or so. But yeah, no, we saw everyone, like I said, morale was high, spirits were high, everyone looked energized, happy to be there. Yeah, the Trop has turf again, which is huge news.
And it looks phenomenal.
I remember when they first kind of transplanted that turf back in like 2024, late 2024, early 2024, when the season was starting. They had transplanted a brand new field for the Tropicana field, the actual the playing surface. Obviously, they didn't get to use it much because after that year, the roof was blown off and it rendered the entire stadium unusable. However, the stadium right now, the state of affairs looks good. All the renovations that are being had have been had for the most part. The biggest thing that I noticed, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, one of the biggest things that I personally noticed with the renovations of the stadium is the giant plastic tarps that they had over the boxes. They had these gigantic plastic tarps covering not the press boxes, but I think actually they were covering the press boxes, but they were also partially covering the fan experience boxes and stuff like that, the ones that you can rent out per game. And yeah, it looked like they started to take those down. It looked like they started to just, really put the stadium back together into its kind of, the form that we're familiar with, the Tropicana Field that we're familiar with. And another thing, a lot of the executives, a lot of the people around the Rays organization that have been had a part in the production of the new stadium, the kind of resemblance. They've said that this new Tropicana Field is bringing a lot to the table. I don't know if you've heard that, but they said that there's a lot of new here, stuff that we haven't seen before with Tropicana Field.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Kent Babby has even stated when we had the chance to interview him. He wants to bring, he doesn't want to just make this, survive the next 3-4 years while we build this new stadium. He wants to make this a memorable experience for everybody who now goes and experiences the Trop over the next few years, because it really is a great place to go watch baseball, and he's only going to elevate that and turn it even better.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his history, he's got a stacked history. He worked with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp for a little bit. He has his roots in this as a bat boy. And obviously we talked to him. We discussed all of that with him. But no, I really hope that the new ownership group, Ken Babby, Zalupski, I hope everyone can get behind this community and rally, because there really is something special here. And I think that Ken Babby kind of did highlight that. He noticed that a little bit when he was here, bought the whole bar, a round of drinks. But there is a large community here, and there is something to be said about the people that will show up for Rays games if you give them the proper the means to. Obviously you have to put a product out on the field that reflects the community first, and then the community will show up. But when you talk about showing up, I mean, there really is that still discussion to be had about the attendance numbers, that sort of thing. The difference between Hillsborough and Pinellas County as a whole is just the kind of the viewership that you can reach, right? One of the biggest things with the Rays that I think people fail to realize now, but it's the location of Tropicana Field. Tropicana Field is right off of the interstate. One way goes to Bradenton in Sarasota via the Skyway. One way goes to Hillsborough on 275. The rest of Florida. There's people, in Manatee County that are Rays fans. There's people obviously in Hillsborough County that are Rays fans, because there's such a huge push that's being made for them right now. But the location really is good. Like, it's a good location for a ballpark. Obviously talking about the current standing location, I have mixed emotions on Hillsborough Community College location. The renderings were released earlier this week, of what kind of almost looks like a home plate, just kind of in the middle of Hillsborough there, or Del Mabry there, across from Raymond James Stadium, kind of on that same lot as Steinbrenner. I do like the general mock-up so far. I actually like it more. I don't know how you felt about the original renderings for the stadium when it was originally planned to be here, kind of that whole district redoing, but I never really liked it that much.
Which one? There's been about 5 that I can
the
think
official
of
one
right now.
The official one.
There's been multiple official ones.
No, there was only one official one.
They've done so many.
I'm telling you right now, there was one official rendering that they released. So it was at the Fan Fest the year before the roof was blown off of the Trop. They had a Fan Fest, and at the Fan Fest, they had gigantic poster boards set up along like a wall where the stage was, and on those poster boards, throughout the poster boards, there were multiple different angles of drawn and I think digitally, imposed graphics that showcased the plans for the new Tropicana Field. And I never really liked it. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I really loved, one of the things that I did love, which I have to highlight about that design, is the commemoration to the gas plant district. There was a museum they were going to be building there. They were going to be enriching like the history aspect of it. They were going to be pointing out, pieces of the gas plant district. For those who maybe don't know, the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium, Tropicana Field, was built in the late 70s, early 80s, on what's now known, or what was known as, the gas plant district, a historically Black community. And there was a lot of kind of like turmoil that went down with it. A lot of discussions as if it was humane what they had done to acquire the land, and all of these different discussions. But yeah, they were planning on actually commemorating those people, and kind of tipping the hat to those people, which was completely ripped from them. When they changed the plans to now go to Hillsborough, which for a while the plans were just diminished as a whole. Obviously we had no plan for a while there. But for for a split second, the plans were, build this beautiful museum, build a couple of these landmarks, make art, bring culture into the community where there already is so much beautiful culture, but bring more in, kind of restore it back to its original form and appreciate it. But also while, playing Rays baseball, they never got that done. They never even acknowledged it after the fact, when the plans were kind of shoved off to the side and Hillsborough, snuck in and kind of grabbed that spot. But yeah, no, it was kind of disrespectful overall, I feel like, to a lot of people. Obviously, it's not my place. I'm not going to sit here and act like, like I really care about that sort of thing, or like that it impacts me as an individual. But I would have really liked to seen it. It was an interesting prospect. And yeah, so much taken away by the Hillsborough, design. But that's specifically talking about the actual stadium itself, the properties of the field, the ballpark. Let's talk about this Rays team, this roster right now. Obviously, yesterday we were walking around. You took a picture with Uceta. You got to talk to Ryan Pepiot. I got to speak to Ian Seymour briefly, which was awesome. We got to see Johnny DeLuca on the stage. Got to see, old Brett Phillips up on the stage there. Obviously not a player, but more of a front office piece. Who do you think looked the happiest to be there?
Happiest to be there. That's a tough question. I've probably got to go with Ryan Pepiot, though. I think Ryan Pepiot, actually, well, if we're counting Brett Phillips, we know it's going to be Brett Phillips.
Brett Phillips,
obviously. I think Brett Phillips is just always happy to be around a baseball. I think if a baseball is within, 500 feet of him, I think he just gets this like adrenaline rush. But, on Ray's roster side, purely, I would have to say Ryan Pepiot. I think he is really excited to be back at the Trop. I think last year he didn't do quite as well as he wanted to. He still had a phenomenal season. He had a great season, and if he repeats that, I don't think any Rays fan will be like mad or upset or anything. I think every Rays fan will be happy if he repeats, but I think he wants better, and I think he's going to get it now that he's in a much favorable ballpark, and I think he's also going to be improving.
Definitely. And, we were just talking about this right before the stream started, but Brett Phillips, he works for the Rays now. That was another thing that kind of came out this week is Brett Phillips was hired by the Rays. Do you know his exact role with the team?
I don't know the exact name of the role, but it is it's something to do with marketing and like
baseball operations and something like that. But yeah, no, really love to see him back in the organization. One of the best moves that the front office for the Rays could have made. I think if you asked really anyone in the Rays organization, this is a fantastic move. Brett Phillips is a baseball guy. He's just a guy overall. He's someone that you want in your corner. He's a great personality, but he's also just level-headed. He's awesome. He's a community-driven person. And you just love to see guys like Brett Phillips out there working for your team and helping to kind of boost the morale around the stadium, especially in a time when we're returning back to the Trop for the first time in over a year. There's a lot of firsts that could be happening with this roster, this team, and you just want the most confidence, the most solidarity. Also, that brings me to another point, another hiring that the Rays have made in this last week. Kevin Kiermaier, the former Golden Glove winner, outfielder for the Rays, also Blue Jays as well later in his career. How do we feel about the hiring of Kevin Kiermaier to coach specifically guys like Chandler Simpson?
It's something that I was expecting, obviously, with him saying that he wants to go around and help every team. He's already been with the Pirates this offseason. He's going to be with the Rays. They said throughout the season, we know it's not going to be, this everyday role where he's this, primary outfield coach, but he is going to help. And it's a move that I don't think can be a bad move because he's a Platinum Glove winner, multi-time Gold Glove winner. So no matter what, I don't think Chandler Simpson's defense is going to get worse because of him. It's a zero risk move. I'm sure they're paying him very little compared to what, other coaches make. I mean, I'm sure it's around the same. He does own his own agency, so that's very cool for him. That's an amazing thing. I think that's the perfect job for him. And I mean, I think, Chandler Simpson is really only going to benefit from it. I think he's the main guy that really needs it, but I think there's, other guys are going to benefit from it too, like Jacob Melton and, other guys in the outfield as well.
Yeah, I honestly agree. When you're doing kind of like risk benefit analysis on guys like Kevin Kiermaier, coaches like this, he's good to have. At first, I didn't really like the move. I didn't really love the hiring of KK. However, kind of reflecting on it and looking back at it, I don't mind it. Like Jake said, you really can only benefit from having a guy like Kiermaier in your corner. Obviously, a former Plat Glove, former Gold Glove, and also a former Ray, which is kind of important. Just because he's been there, he's played in the Trop a lot.
All-time guy.
Yeah, all-time guy. He's been there before. He's been there. He's been in the situation. He's been in their shoes, especially guys like Chandler Simpson. And so he can kind of guide them through that role. He can kind of guide them and give them perspective and say, hey, I really wish I would have known this when I was in your exact position. And so we just have an extra sense of security with our outfielders, which at a point in this offseason was a question. It still kind of is. It's, is this outfield really where it needs to be to win big in 2026? I don't really know.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, time will tell. Obviously, Cedric Mullins, got rid of J-Lo. Obviously, made some moves, switched some things around. Obviously, got rid of Christopher Morel. Chandler Simpson's still in there.
I will say this, though. Looking into the Rays outfield, you can go through player for player, and you can realize that this outfield's about the same group that it once was. You have Cedric Mullins, who's a really high upside bat that, kind of just has a really low floor based on what we saw last season. But I think the Rays are doing something that's very important that isn't being talked about. They're not running it back with the same group of guys. They're getting different guys out there. And although that sounds very simple, when you get a bunch of guys, if you have a group of 10 people that have the same upside and 5 of them you try out this season and you try the next 5 out last season, you're at least trying to get somewhat of a hope that you can have a great season out there. Cedric Mullins could go back to this 30-30 bat, just like Josh Lowe once did. And Jake Fraley could have an amazing season against right-handed pitchers, where I'm assuming is where all of his at-bats are going to come from. Doubt he's going to see any lefties this season. And, I just think them getting a different group of guys out there is really what's important, because, you can't just keep running it back with the same guys who have a high upside, because you've already seen them. They're not going to work for you. I mean, there's still a chance, but it's much smaller year after year. So I like them going out and just getting different guys out there, even if they are, practically the same player.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Rays have always been really good at that, kind of switching up the personnel, giving you different looks, giving you different, the lineups are never the same, it feels like, with the Rays. Like, you can never have a back-to-back year where the consistent lineup is just like all the same names. Just that's not the baseball the Rays play. The Rays, plug and play so many prospects. The Rays plug and play so many guys that maybe have had their time in the league and have come and gone, and they're trying to get that last breath out of them. And I feel like they're really good, kind of working on that margin. But yeah, no, I really like what they've done with the outfield so far. I don't think they're where they need to be. I don't think they're where they should be. I do think they should have made some type of big, adjustment, at least financially, with the outfield in the offseason. I think that would have given a lot of people a lot more confidence overall with where they're going to be very soon. Obviously, April, opening day at Tropicana Field, first pitch is, barreling towards us. I'm very excited, but I'm also pretty damn nervous. I don't know. There's so many takeaways, but there's so much to be excited about as well. So yeah, it's not a grim time as a Rays fan, for the Rays as a whole, for the organization, not a grim time at all. But going in, talking about baseball as a whole, talking about the Rays organization, there's so many guys on this roster. Obviously we have the Olympics going on right now, talking about international sports. There's a couple of guys on this roster that will be going to the World Baseball Classic. Jay Aranda, Mexico. Junior Caminero, the DR. Who am I missing here?
Griffin Jackson.
Griffin Jackson for
and Garrett
USA.
Clevenger. And, Edwin Uceta was also supposed to be on the Team Dominican Republic team, but he now has a shoulder tweak, and Kevin Cash is saying that it's precautionary that they're taking him out. But, if
Is
he has
Uceta DR? I believe
so.
Uceta is Venezuela. I believe. I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure. I just read it. I'm pretty sure it's DR. But, I think the big thing to take away with that, though, is that the Rays, if they have any concerns over injuries, they're not going to – yeah, it is DR. They're not going to have any single, risk of injury there. They want to make sure their guys are staying healthy. And although, injuries happen, you can never predict an injury. I'm glad to see them take that step to be like, you're not 100%, you're not going to play. So I think that's very good.
Yeah, I absolutely hate when not the decision is made, but it's kind of someone's hand is forced into playing in a position where maybe they're uncomfortable, maybe they're not in the best space. I think that the best move for a guy like Edwin Uceta is really just to kind of take some time, assess his personal situation, just let things kind of hold out for a little bit, because you don't want to make a decision based on a World Baseball Classic type of game that could impact your health or your career down the line in a large capacity. You want to eliminate any amount of injury that could persist and happen later down the line. But yeah, I'm really excited to see Junior. I absolutely can't wait for when I can get that jersey. That's gonna look so sick. We saw Junior yesterday, very up close and personal, in the 95.3 WDAE tent at the 2026 Rays Block Party Fan Fest. He was doing a little interview. I believe he had a translator with him. But it was really, really cool. And that's just kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. It's just so cool to talk to those guys, see those guys up close. And yeah, Junior Caminero, he looked good. He had a fresh fade. He had some Louis V glasses, but he was classy as always. And yeah,
so much swag.
So much swag. Who had the most swag really out of anyone?
Me.
I gotta say Ian Seymour, dude. I gotta say those sunglasses.
I don't know, dude.
He was swagging, dude.
Did you see me there?
I did see you there.
Yep.
There's a reason I didn't say your name though.
What do you mean? I don't get it.
Not bad. Yeah, we'll move on. But
that's embarrassing.
The Rays players dress to impress. They show up. They look good.
I mean, anybody wearing a Rays jersey is going to impress. So that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, especially if the last name spells out Caminero.
That's not how you spell his last name.
Caminero.
Caminero. I thought you were saying Seymour. I thought you said Seamao. I don't know.
Right. This kid does not know how to spell.
Bro, I'm tired.
He can podcast, but he can't spell. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, no, yesterday was a long day for a lot of people, especially those that actually had to do something for Valentine's Day. My heart goes out to you.
No, we had to do something. We showed up.
We had to do something, but it wasn't late. Like it wasn't we weren't there till like 10 p.m. Like we were there till like 4 or like 3.
But we saw Junior Caminero in person.
I mean, like
we were within.
I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm not saying it was.
Oh no, it was an amazing thing.
Yeah, no, yeah. I said it was a great day. It was really one of the best ways you could spend that type of day was with Junior Caminero, Ryman Pepiot, Brody Hopkins, Ian Seymour, Ryan Valade.
And we'll get those interviews up within the next day or two.
Yeah.
Well, it'll also be we're gonna post a YouTube video about the day that we had at the Fan Fest, and then I think we're also gonna. Maybe we'll put those interviews in the video, or maybe a little sneak peek, and but they will be uploaded on our channel, so you can be out for that.
Yeah. So lock into that, and tap in, and yeah, there will be content revolving the Rays Fan Fest. It was sick. It was an amazing event. Super happy we could have been. I do want to talk a little bit about.
Real quick, I wanted to bring this up. The Rays have a few prospects that are also going to be playing in the World Baseball Classic that you can look out for. Look out for Great Britain. All right, Gary Gilhill and Owen Wild will be playing for Team Great Britain, as well as Yoendry Gomez will be playing for Venezuela, former White Sox.
Gary Gilhillan, man, absolute dog.
Not Hillen.
I don't even know who that is.
Gary. Oh, you're a casual. Wow.
I guess I am a casual.
I could go on about Rays prospects all day. Gary Gilhill has phenomenal upside. He had a bit of a down year last year, but I think he will bounce back. I think believe he had a 2.5 ERA in 2024. ERA is not the best stat to go off of, but just looking at prospects that, and then I think he got up to a 4.5 the year after.
I'm familiar with some Rays prospects. Sorry to Gary. Big sorry to Gary.
3.15 in 24, 3.82 in 25.
Yeah, sorry I'm not familiar, Gary.
The Rays number 18 prospect per MLB pipeline.
Sincerely, my heart goes out to you, Gary. I'm sorry I wasn't familiar.
Now you're being an ass.
But
Now you're just being a jackass. All right, let's move on.
But yeah, so
No
and
Owen
if-
Wilds comment, or you want to be rude to him too?
I'll be rude to him too.
All right, let's get a move on then, buddy.
So NFL season came to a close. The Super Bowl happened. It came and went. The Seattle Seahawks beat the New England Patriots in a large fashion. It was a fun game to watch. But the NFL
How about
season.
our predictions? First of all,
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to say that.
Oh yeah, our predictions were
Wait,
pretty
actually,
on the
you know
money.
what? You
Pretty
know what?
pretty good.
Bring up the stat line. We're gonna review it right now.
Okay, so I believe I said Kenneth Walker.
No, I have
Oh, okay.
I have it in the notes app.
Wow, has the exact. All right,
I did it as we were reading.
Let me get the exact stats up on my phone so we can compare band for band
All right.
these statistics.
No money, by the way.
Yeah, no money. I'm just saying band for band so we can go like,
Yeah,
Back
I
to
get
that.
it. We get it, bro.
Yeah, see, I didn't know if you got it because
Alright.
you were saying something about.
All right, Drake May, let's
Alright.
go.
All right.
I think we both actually nailed this.
All right.
I think you
give me
actually
Drake
nailed
May's
this.
stat line.
Did you have the stat line pulled up?
No, I'm saying the predictions.
All right, we'll do
Predictions versus
predictions
reality.
first.
Predictions versus reality right
All right.
here. The Super Bowl 60.
Drake May, you had him going 19 for 39 with 2 touchdowns, an interception, and 298 yards.
He
And
went.
then I'll go with mine as well.
Okay.
I had him going 17 for 28 for a touchdown, an interception, and 244 yards.
I was definitely a lot closer, but I was not that close. He went 27 for 43,
He
200,
had 295 passing yards.
295 passing yards. So I was really
Holy
good.
poverty, bro.
I was really good with that. I was on the money.
All
with
right,
that.
I'll give you the win on that one.
He had how many passing touchdowns and how many interceptions? Or
You had him for 2 and 1, and then I had him for 1 and 1.
he had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah,
so
we'll give that to you. You were definitely way closer than I was.
I was a lot closer for that. I'll take that.
All right, do you want to move on to the entire Patriots offense, or do you want to go?
Oh, sure.
quarterback?
Let's do quarterback. So Sam Darnold now. Sam Darnold stat predictions.
You had him going 23 for 31 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions for 258 yards. I had him going 22 for 25 with 3 touchdowns and 270 yards.
I think I might have been a little. I think we were both pretty even on that actually.
Read it out.
He
We'll
went
decide.
19 for 38, 202 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 0 interceptions.
I mean, can we count that as no win?
I feel like that's no
That's-
win. I was closer on the completions to the ratio. How many yards did we both say passing?
258 versus 270. I was 270. You were 258.
So I was technically closer, but we were both off. I was off by 50. You were just off by 70 something.
Yeah,
So,
it was both horrible. So I think we
Yeah.
do 1-0 for you right now.
okay, I'll take 1-0.
All right, we'll move on to JSN here. We'll stay with the Seahawks.
We'll say 1-0. 1-0 tie.
yeah,
Yeah.
1-0 and 1. All right, JSN, you had him going. Oh, we both. Well, oh, I mean, this is close. 8 for 10.
JSN in the Super Bowl.
Can we not laugh like that?
They
first
just-
of all?
They just
All right, no, move on.
wow, dude. I can't even. Can we just not laugh,
All right,
please?
You had him
Jeez,
going
dude.
8 receptions on 10 targets for 102 yards and a touchdown. So far off, right? And then you think, if I have any less than that, I would win, right? I had him getting 7 receptions on 10 targets for 96 yards, but I also had him getting 2 touchdowns.
So he had 10 targets, 4 receptions,
So, I mean, I'm closer on the receptions, obviously, by 1.
27 receiving yards. This is another tie, Jake.
I mean, what happened, bro?
this is another tie.
We
I'm
don't
sorry.
we don't
This-
deserve that.
This
Neither of
isn't
us
like
deserve the win.
oh, I had 1 yard closer. This is JSN had a heart attack and the Seattle Seahawks still won.
I mean,
know.
like it's the same thing with Darnold. Like necessarily, you're technically closer, but neither of us deserve that because it
Yeah.
was so far off.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to Stephon Diggs here, and I actually think, based on my memory, we actually did really good on this. Stephon Diggs, you had going 6 receptions on 8 targets for 64 receiving yards and a touchdown. So that's pretty good, based on
Mhm.
my memory. And then I had him getting 5 receptions on 8 targets for 74 yards and no touchdowns.
All right, so I'm about to read you Stephon Diggs' stat line, and
I'd hope so.
your memory is not serving you well
Really?
at all. He had 3 receptions off 3 targets for 37 yards. He had 100% like catch rate, 37 yards. That's a pretty all right stat line for
No
Stephon Diggs.
touchdowns.
No touchdowns.
I mean,
Uh,
do I deserve the win on that?
no.
2 receptions off, 5 targets off, and
Wait, how
30.
many yards? How many yards did you say?
74.
No,
That's
no.
40. Yeah.
I was
40
gonna
off.
say if you said like 40
if I
yards,
was like
if you said
20,
40 or
if I
50,
was, yeah, if I was like 20 off, I think we can count it. But I mean,
Yeah.
40
I
yards.
was about to give you that if you said like 40 or 50, but the fact that
So
you
you're
said
1-0-3, and I'm 0-1-3.
yeah,
Jeez, this is bad.
yeah, we just both we just don't watch football apparently.
All right, so we posted a short, a clip, and I can already tell you right now, you won Kenneth Walker right?
Yes.
because you had him getting
Give me the
more
stat
yards.
line.
You had him getting 21 rushes for 150 yards with 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions, and 17 receiving yards.
Yes. What was yours? What was your prediction?
21 rushes, 114 yards. Actually, that's like right in the middle, to be honest. And then 0 touchdowns. Did he get a touchdown? He got 1.
He
1 rushing touchdown?
did not. He did not.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
I was trying to see if he had a receiving touchdown, but he did not. He didn't have a touchdown at all.
And then I had him getting 4 receptions for 34 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. So what are we looking at receptions here? And I think that'll be the tiebreaker. And I think because one of us
Receptions?
deserved the win. On
He
this.
had 140 yards receiving. So I'm pretty.
I mean, I was 4 for 34. You were 3 for 17. I think just based off rushing, we deserve.
Or wait, sorry, what?
Wait,
Say that again. You just said. Are you talking about rushing or receiving stats?
receiving.
Receiving stats.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about rushing stats.
Oh, rushing. You had
100
21 for 150. I had 21 for 114.
He had 27 for 140. That's what I'm saying.
137. You said. So you're closer on the rushing, but it's by like 10 yards. So
Yeah.
what was his receiving? If his receiving
His
is like
receiving
if
yards.
I'm like pretty close on the receiving or dead on, I think
26.
I mean, I was at 34. You were at 17. That's like right in the middle yet again. But it's a little
Yeah.
closer to me versus a lot closer.
Based
for you
on the
other
fact
one.
that he's a running back and not a receiver, I think I should take that.
Yeah.
Just
and
based on
I
the fact
also
that
had
he's
him getting
running back.
I also had him getting a receiving touchdown, but I also didn't have him getting any rushing touchdowns. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's really even, but I'll give you the win on that. I
Okay.
think just based off pure rushing stats, you were closer.
And now we're looking at Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah,
Trayvon Henderson. Because
And
Ramondre
boy, oh boy,
Stevenson.
were we both wrong on that.
Oh, we were both off by a mile. Country mile.
Did he even play? I
I
mean,
mean, he did play. He
he
played
did,
special
but-
teams.
guy got in for to be a gunner when he's been, one
one of the premier
best-
backs.
yeah.
Like
All right. You had him getting 12 rushes for 83 yards and a touchdown. We'll just go based off rushing stats to start. And then if it's
Okay.
close, which we know it's not, we'll go to receiving. We'll just mention the receiving. And a touchdown you had him. I had him going 14 for 76 with a rushing touchdown. So what was his stat line rushing was?
his Trayvon Henderson's stat line rushing wise, he had 6 carries for 45 yards.
I mean, that's just like, how does a guy get 45 yards on 6 carries? You're not going to play him.
Sorry. Yes. No. That was correct. My bad. I was looking at APY. I thought I was looking at APY. But no, that was 45 off 6. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's also like
It's not winning worthy.
Like, it's
And he
not
also didn't get a
winning.
touchdown. Like if I said 0 touchdowns, maybe I would argue it, but and then what was his receiving stat line? You had him getting 4 for 28, and then I had him getting 2 for 25 with a touchdown. Receiving.
So receiving, he had 3 targets, 3 receptions, 26 receiving yards.
I mean, I was pretty dead
34
on there.
yards after catch, which like
I was pretty dead on
not
that.
terrible for
That's
that.
that's pretty dead on receiving wise. Now
Yeah.
we had some more predictions. Hot take touchdowns.
Yeah, you got that by the way. So I
Yeah.
would say we ended up
I got-
2, 1, and 3.
I got 2 for 2 on that, and then you got close. Wait, did the Seahawks defense get a touchdown? They did, right?
They did.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I said defense and special teams. They did get a touchdown. It was like one of the first big touchdowns or something. And I remember that. Dude, I was
No, that was.
so-
I think that was one of the later touchdowns because I remember I was sending you videos.
Well, no, it was one of the first big. What I mean by that is it was a very slow game until it was later in the game, but
Oh,
it was
yeah,
a very
yeah.
slow game up until that point. But yeah, I predicted the Seattle Seahawks defense and special teams recording a touchdown throughout the Super Bowl at any point, and that went pretty well for me because
but it went even better for me, did it not?
I don't even know what you're referencing right now because what else did you predict? I don't.
My hot take touchdown for the Seahawks was AJ Barner, who did get a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And then you had Stephon Diggs, which I don't really think is a hot take, but I had Matt
He had
Collins.
keep in mind, he had 4 receiving touchdowns.
He's also their wide
all
receiver
year.
1, though.
Keep in mind, he had 4 receiving touchdowns.
Okay, but he's their wide receiver 1.
I don't care if he's Jesus Christ. He had 4 receiving touchdowns.
That's still
That is
I don't know.
unlike the odds for 4 receiving touchdowns off 17 games played.
Still the wide receiver 1, though. That's what I'm at.
Like, what do you want me to do at that point? I feel it's still a
I
hot
put
take.
Matt Collins
in the
so I
Super
won.
Bowl against the best defense in the NFL. That's not a hot take. A guy with 4 touchdowns getting a touchdown.
Guarantee you his odds were like plus 200.
All right, bet I'll take you up. I'll look. Stephon
I don't think you're gonna be able to
Diggs
find it.
odds to score a touchdown in.
I had Matt Collins, so I went
This
2
is
for 2 on mine.
investigative reporting. All right. 280.
I mean, that's pretty dead on.
That's 80. That's plus 80.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
taking that. That's a win for me. That's a win in my book. All right. I don't care about anyone else's book. That's a win in mine.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want to say that you won when you lost, I mean that's cool. But 4
Literally
yards?
4 touchdowns, 4 receiving. I don't think anyone listening is understanding. That's 4 receiving touchdowns. I could score more receiving touchdowns than that
No, you
in a regular season.
no, you
like,
cannot.
Like, yeah, realistically I couldn't. You're right,
I
but
don't-
like
How many?
like you-
All right, how many games do you think it would take you to score a touchdown? First of all,
in the NFL,
in the NFL,
like right now,
yeah, like
probably
17
not.
game season.
I'm probably just not.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
I'm a lineman. Like I'm not like
I think
I'm a bad lineman. Like
I think if you gave me a 17 game season right now, I obviously would not score a touchdown. But I think in 4 to 5 years I would score one. You know, a little bit older.
I don't think so.
Little bit older. If I continue to get stronger, like you got to think about it. I'd also be training during that time though. Like 4
You'd
to
be
5
training
years.
that. Right?
If I was hard training for 4
you
to
said
5 years,
4 to
I
5
think,
years, right?
I think I could get 1 touchdown in the NFL off some bull.
Okay, wait. Listen, you said 4 to 5 years, right? Okay.
Yeah, of
So-
NFL games. That's like it's like
4 to 5 years of
100
NFL games, right?
100 games. I think I could get 1 touchdown, and that includes like time passing, me getting stronger.
Without giving up like personal
Faster.
information, you're 17 years old, right?
I weigh 115. No, I weigh 130 now.
I'm
Big
saying
dogs on the bulk.
I'm saying you're 17 years old. You're in early college, but you should technically be like a junior in high school, right?
Yeah.
5 years. That's not even like a full college sentence at this point. There are Division I athletes that get 5 years in college, and they still would physically not be able to score
I'm
a
saying
touchdown
like you
in an NFL
you
game.
draw up like a play. Like
I'm
not
telling
saying,
you right
No,
now,
I'm not
it's
saying-
not
I'm not gonna-
happening.
I'm not
And
saying
it's-
I'm gonna
no, I'm not
route
talking about
somebody
some.
up.
I'm not talking about some 1 yard Marshawn Lynch should have been handoff. I'm talking about an actual like
Oh,
you
well, then
drive
never.
the ball down the field and
Never.
score a touchdown.
I'm
Yeah.
saying like I could.
Okay, so if you, I didn't know that. I didn't know the basis of the question was we're on the 1 yard line. You have to crash through a D
All
line.
right, wait.
because
1
I've
yard
done
fade
that
ball.
before.
1 yard fade ball. Who's winning? Me or Sauce Gardner? I'm taking that.
Like a 1-on-1, like he's on corner.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got that.
appreciate
Look at how he played at the Colts this last year, dog.
it. Hey, if he's injured, actually, you know who I would actually route up right now?
Who would you route up, Jake?
What corner has a torn ACL or like Achilles or something?
All right, bro. Like I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm not even gonna bring up a corner that's injured because it's not funny. This kid's making fun of people with injuries and disabilities. I swear, dude. This is
Hey,
the
I know
worst.
a guy who gets his knee injured every couple days.
Knee
almost-
injury.
You know, I know a guy that almost tore his Achilles trying to sit down in a beanbag chair.
What is this, the fun fact show? What are you talking about? Cool. That's
yeah,
awesome.
he almost tore his Achilles trying to sit down in a beanbag.
That's
so that was
so
pretty sad.
cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Does he play corner?
No, he plays lineman.
He plays lineman.
Yeah, like O-line.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Yeah.
say he plays O line, but I've never heard someone say he plays lineman.
Damn it, that was embarrassing.
For those listening on the radio, he just tried to hit it in studio to try to hit a sound effect, and it did not go well. But yeah,
Volume
we're
is
just
down.
we're just filling dead area right now. I don't even. Let's actually talk about something important here.
How about college
Man.
baseball?
College
I
baseball.
couldn't tell you any. I don't
the
know.
Baylor Bears right now. The run that the Baylor Bears are on right now.
I'll tell you
is
this
crazy.
right now. If college baseball is on tonight, I'll be watching it. I really want to
Me
watch some
too.
college baseball, especially, I'll say this. With the Rays having the second overall pick in this year's upcoming MLB draft, I am more than excited ever.
Mhm.
All right, you know what? We'll just move past that. I am more than wait. I am more excited than ever to watch college baseball because of the fact that I know the Rays could be getting, the best possible player.
Oh yeah, with the draft pick.
Yeah, with the second overall draft pick, I am really excited to watch college baseball this season. Might do some scouting on my own.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm really excited for this MLB
And I'll say
draft.
this: if Justin LeBron gets drafted to the Rays, jersey's bought day one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting prospect. But talking about college baseball, Baylor Bears, as I was just talking about, Tice Armstrong. Mr. Tice Armstrong, the first baseman for the Baylor Bears, hitting 3 grand slams, tying the NCAA record. The last grand slam was a walk-off home run to send them into the bullpen or send them into the clubhouse. I can't even begin to talk about. That's a Shohei type performance right there. When I mean
That's like
Shohei,
Fernando Tatis getting 2 grand slams in a single inning. Like
I
that's
know.
first of all, getting the opportunity to do that 3 times in a game is outrageous. How about doing it? Like actually doing it though.
Yeah, no.
Getting the opportunity 3 times is something that happens once a year across all baseball, college, MLB, minor leagues probably. How about actually doing it though?
Yeah, no. So the thing, it's like the odds of getting a grand slam just to begin with, not like a walk off, not something big. Like it is big, but not something like historic. Like just to get a walk off. Just to get a grand slam, like it's hard. The odds
You think anybody like actually bet on that before the game? Zero
no,
shot, right?
There's no way.
Maybe
because
like
we would
any
know
player,
there would be a new richest man in the world if that had
yeah.
happened. Like we would know.
It could have been like this season 3 grand slams in a single game, like parlay. I could see that.
But who's taking that? Who's looking at who's like
You know
opening up?
what people
who's opening
gamble
up
about?
Hard Rock?
You
and
know what
saying
people gamble
3
about?
grand slams in one game, and like
Throughout the entire college baseball season for any single team, any single player, there's got to be at least one person out there that did it.
I guess if it's all college baseball, like going
Yeah.
down. I just died, and this kid's laughing, dude. This kid's laughing at me, coughing up a fit over here. Nah, but
Alive, by the way.
yeah, no, but 3 grand slams in one game is insane. It's unheard of. I mean, I don't even know where you begin with that sort of deal. Tice Armstrong, man. I mean, he will be seeing the league someday, eventually. But yeah, like back to what I was saying just a second ago, the odds of that happening, though, especially if someone were to bet on something like that, like the statistic odds of hitting not 1, not 2, but 3 grand slams, having the third one be a walk-off, like if someone scripted a baseball movie and that was the finale sequence, people would say that it's too unrealistic and that it would never happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the fact that he did. I mean, I'm just going to keep saying it. Like getting the opportunity is insane for one thing. And then actually doing it is even crazier. And the last one being a walk-off just makes it even more poetic.
Yeah. I mean, that's a game that kid, Tice Armstrong, is going to be thinking about for the rest of his life, whether he does or does not make the league, which I do think he will. But yeah, very talented first baseman there. Baylor has found themselves a rocket. But yeah, college baseball is at its, it's at its starting point right now in the season. It's starting to get good, starting to heat up a little bit. College basketball. I have been watching so much college basketball recently. It's been crazy.
March Madness is soon.
March Madness. We are gearing up for March Madness here. It is February 15th. We got about 15 days or so. And
You know what we got to do?
What?
Sometime within the next week, we've got to get a YouTube video out of us doing a complete mock draft for the first round of the NFL draft. Mock draft 1.0.
Yeah.
And then, throughout the offseason, after free agency period, we'll do another one. And then right before the draft, we'll do another one.
Yeah, we'll have to do a couple segments, on the YouTube channel.
3 to 5. 3
Yeah.
to 5 full mock drafts, first round. And then also some, maybe a little bit later in the video.
Screw it,
we'll
let's
just
do
a full
10.
buck.
Let's do 10.
Are you gonna do 10? Because
I don't know. You just started
I don't
throwing
think-
out numbers. All
No,
right.
I don't
dude,
think it's worth it to do 10. I don't think
I
we
did
could do
probably.
one
I'm
today
not
and then
joking.
one next week, and
I-
it would be the exact same.
I'm not joking. I didn't post them, but realistically, last year, before the draft, I think I legitimately did over 30 mock drafts, like full mock drafts.
Oh well, yeah, I do a ton, but it's not. I'm just saying it's gonna be relatively similar if we do it. One this week right after the Super Bowl, and then if we do one in 2 weeks, because I mean, how many guys are realistically going to re-sign in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably not that many.
Yeah, so it's going to be very similar. Like there would probably be a few different picks, you know, a few things come out about some draft prospects. I think we do one. I mean, when is like the combine, you know, workouts, all that type of stuff? We do 1 or 2 around then, one before, one after.
Yeah, we'll have to do something like that. That's a production discussion. We'll get that figured out.
Yeah.
We will get you guys the draft, the mock drafts. You guys will know who the Buccaneers are drafting before they draft. I don't know what you're pointing at.
Nothing.
But what a crazy game though right now. Am I talking right? Like live?
What?
Number 7 ranked
Oh.
UCLA at playing number 10 ranked LSU in softball. They're beating them 7-0 right now. Absolute haymaker of a game for UCLA.
I'll tell you this, one thing I wish I knew how to do was pitch like a softball pitcher, because that's, you know, they really don't get any load onto their like windup, and that's impressive, being able to throw the ball 70.
Yeah. No, I wish I could pitch.
I think
At all.
I think if you gave me a year to train, I think I could throw 35, 40 max.
Yeah, I mean it's good that you're saying that though, because I feel like there's so many people out there that are like, oh, I could throw.
No,
hurl a bit
zero
for softball.
shot. If
Like,
they say that, they're lying. Plus,
yeah,
the ball is bigger too, so it's more mass. It's more like it's even harder to throw than a baseball. Like the people saying that probably couldn't even throw what they're saying overhand.
yeah, no, not at all. It's always
Maybe
the people.
with a pull down,
It's always the people that have never been there too. It's always
and
the
it's
people
always
that
the
have, like,
unathletic people too.
yeah, I could easily do that.
Like
That's
no, you
nothing.
can't, bro.
But yeah,
I want to. All right, I want to bring up. Wait, I want to bring up this. What is there any college baseball team that you're looking to watch, whether it's a certain player or whether it's just, you know, just sounds like a fun team? You know, we both haven't. I'm not sure about you, but I haven't watched much college baseball really ever. But I'll say this year I am really looking forward. I'm gonna watch some Virginia games 100%. The outfielder they have, I'm really hoping the Rays draft, just because of, you know, really the current state of our outfield group. One, and then the other is we really don't have that many good outfield prospects. You know, we have Theo Gillen, who is, you know, the number 2 ranked prospect per MLB Pipeline. But other than that, you know, there's really not that many guys on the, even in the top 30. You know, Austin Overn's one that I can remember, but other than that, there's really not much. So is there any team that you're really looking forward to watch in college baseball?
Honestly, the University of South Florida Bulls, their baseball team every year is consistently actually pretty good. I remember 2 years ago or last year, they had Bryce Archie, who ended up getting drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
And, you know, back in 2017, they had a guy who's now playing for the Tampa Bay Rays, who is a Cy Young contender, Shane McClanahan. Come on.
Yeah, go Bulls.
What a goat.
Objective, go Bulls.
How
However,
fitting is it that he's a Ray as well, by the way?
yeah,
Wow.
no, I mean, it's perfect. And he grew up in Florida. Yeah. I got to say the University of South Florida Bulls, their baseball team, like I was just saying, Bryce Archie got drafted to the Cincinnati Reds about a year ago. He was a pitcher and a quarterback at University of South Florida, USF. But yeah, very talented young man. And he's pretty sure he's making waves in their farm systems. But yeah, USF for sure. I like Appalachian State. Their baseball team is not very good though. Just like on a
And neither
broad-
is their football team, so it's fine. Why is it silent? Why'd we go quiet?
I don't know why you needed that comment.
I'll tell you this. I'll
Why
tell
is
you
the
this.
kid?
I'll tell you this. One team that I'm excited to watch is Savannah State this baseball season. How about that, huh? Ben. All right. Can we?
Hey bro. Ben's not here.
No, I'll send this to him and he'll be happy, bro.
Hey
be
bro,
alright.
Ben's not here.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. So, did you know Savannah State existed before you met Ben?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, dude. But yeah, no.
I'll say this as well. Roach Koloski from UCLA. That's a player I'm definitely excited to watch. You know, it is, you know, the basic pick for the White Sox, and they should make the pick to draft him number 1 overall. But if they do not, you know, I think it's a very, 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 very high chance that he does become a Tampa Bay Ray, unless, you know, he has a horrible season this year. Then who knows? But I think Roach Koloski will be a White Sox. If not, he will be a Tampa Bay Ray, and he's a guy that I'm definitely excited to watch.
Definitely. And there's so many good prospects this year going into the MLB draft. I'm excited because, you know, the Rays have a really, really good pick this year. Really good pick this year. And so if they can capitalize on a good pick, bolster their prospects.
Farm system as a whole.
Farm system as a whole, prospects, get guys in here that sign the contract for the future of the Rays, for the future, for when Hillsborough is the home of the Rays. Get the future secured and now play Eric Neander baseball. I don't even know. I don't even sound like myself anymore. I used to be such like a
I will say
now.
You got to be honest. At least for me, this is how I see it. And I feel like everyone should see the way I see it because I'm always right, obviously. But do you not agree that the Rays should, kind of blow it up? Maybe not necessarily even blow it up, but kind of, put these next 2 to 3 years aside, really stack the farm system up, get guys like Cedric Mullins, hope he plays well. And honestly, if you're not contending for a top seed in the playoffs, trade him away. Because if you can get prospects, if you can get good players out of it, bolster the farm and really make a push for when that new stadium is there. Because if you're going into that first year with the new stadium as a World Series contender, you're selling out every game, and that's exactly what the ownership should be looking for, and that's exactly what they should want.
I feel like there's two sides to that because one side is you can push and make everything right for the
and
Hillsborough
I think the Rays. Sorry to cut you off, but I think the Rays are one of the best teams of being able to kind of put out this mediocre roster and still be able to compete.
Yeah.
So even if we are just 82 wins the next 3 seasons, I don't even think that's necessarily a bad thing. Take a look at the White Sox and the Rockies. They've been in mediocrity, and no, not even mediocrity. They've been way below mediocrity for years now, and they still aren't even good.
And I know
White Sox are getting better though.
And I know why that is with the Rays. It's because they get in the streaks. They'll get into a streak where they'll be great. They'll be one of the best teams in baseball.
Best team in baseball.
They'll be not the best team in baseball maybe, but they'll be the somewhat top of the AL East, 1 or 2 in the AL East.
And I feel like it happens every year where we're
absolutely.
Like,
it happened 2 years ago when we started 13-0. I mean,
3 years ago now.
3 years ago
with
now.
It being 2026.
Yeah.
Some
But
outer space.
2 seasons technically. 13-0 start. It was
and then even
tied.
last year, you remember that late May run where the MLB started, and then they started having conversations about where the Rays would play playoff baseball, and then we realized that playoffs are actually in the future, so we stopped playing good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the Rays, kind of didn't have a place to play.
Yeah, and they didn't want us. And then they ended up saying that we could play at Steinbrenner, and we just kept sucking anyways. And it felt like the whole part of that later half of last season at Steinbrenner, it just kind of felt like we were waiting for them to get back on that hot streak, and they just never did. But it felt like they were going to for so long. There were so many signs, and it just never happened.
Yeah. And but back to what I was saying, though, there's two sides to that story of you could kind of minimize the product that you're putting out on the field for the next couple of years, build your roster, build the funds, build the farm system to make the best product possible that you can put out on the field when the Hillsborough Stadium is finally built and developed and, that is in motion. But then there's also this sentiment that I think a lot of people might have where, it's the last few years with the Trop. It's the last chance with the Trop. It's the last chance to get a World Series in the Trop, contending other than obviously 2008. 2020 because 2020 was in the
it was in the Rangers.
It was in the Ranger Stadium, so
Which,
it wasn't
being able to go there a few years ago. Post World Series was a surreal feeling. Watching the Rays play the World Series there, that was crazy to go there and really watch a game there.
As a young Rays fan at that time, an image that will forever be ingrained into my brain, like literally burned
just
into
like
my
the
brain.
dark turf.
Not the
always
the
gets
dark turf, but also like when they won the AL East, the gray shirts, how they all wore the gray shirts.
Oh yeah, that
and
picture,
the group picture.
Yep,
like that picture right there. Like that is physically ingrained. Like that will not leave. It's snapshotted into my brain. It will never leave.
Yeah.
Just because that point as a Rays fan was so surreal. Just to live through that and experience that. But yeah, it kind of has that mentality of, oh, it's the last few years on the Trop. Is it our last opportunity to see this type of baseball being played in the Trop? But then also, once we leave the Trop, once we are out of the Trop, moved out, and it's being bulldozed, when they're in Hillsborough, if things go to as they say they're going to now, which you can never trust them.
I trust. Well, I don't think you can say that about the new Rays ownership. You can never trust the Rays, but I've got high hopes. I'm not ready to trust them, but I'm I am ready to trust them, if that makes sense. You
I
know what
do
mean?
think that the Hillsborough Stadium is very likely as of right
Yeah.
now. I think there was a point when I was like, oh well, I don't know because they kind of it was a
They
discussion
just
for a
we're
while
always,
and
we're
they
always
faked it
hearing
out.
about this.
Yeah, they faked it out with the St. Pete Stadium and all these different things that are contributing. I do genuinely think that this stadium is going to be built in Hillsborough County now. I personally don't love it. I do think that the Rays are better in Pinellas County. I think they're better at their current location, whether it's the Trop or a new stadium. But I do think that there is the door of opportunity for the Rays financially speaking and on a broader scale internationally moving to Hillsborough. They're going to be a lot closer to Tampa International Airport, a lot more international traffic going towards the stadium. They're saying now that they're going to have a direct line between the airport and the stadium in a hotel or something like that because of the close proximity, which overall is going to improve absolutely everything, for the Rays. And I would love to see the Rays playing in a high-tech brand new stadium as their home. That'd so be sick. That's theirs. That's truly theirs. It's not owned by another team. But yeah, no,
I want to go back.
It raises that kind of question of when they're out of the Trop, when they're said and done, will they be the same Rays that we've watched and come to learn over the last 10 years?
I want to go back to what you said about the last few years in the Trop. You want to kind of make some memories, bring it back as a good team. And I think the most important part with that is looking at the team. You say you got it for the next 2 years. You think what years are they expecting the stadium to be built? 2029?
I think it's 2028.
2028. Baseball probably won't even get baseball, but I think the Rays farm system is already loaded enough.
I think you're right. I think it is 2029 because I just did the math. There's no way it's 2 years.
Yeah. So 2029, right? You got to think if they're going into the first year as World Series contenders, that means the last season that they had has to have been a good season, or they just went out and signed a bunch of people. And if we're talking about bolstering the farm and really loading up, it means that they have got prospects that are now in the major leagues. Theo Gillen by then will probably be the team's 3-hitter, and hopefully Junior's still here to see it. But I think taking a look at it, I think the last year in the Trop has to be good if you want to be good that first year.
Mm-hmm.
You can be this ascending team. You could be like the White Sox where you're starting to get better, but you still kind of really aren't that good. But I think the Rays will be mediocre for the next 2 years. I think 2026 and 2027 they will be. I think 2028 they're going to start and look like the 2023 I believe Orioles have this really young team that kind of outperforms everyone's expectations. And then I think 2029 will be into that first year of the stadium, and I think they're really going to start and look like this not Super Bowl, I keep saying that, World Series contending level team.
Hey, I don't blame you. We're still coming down from the Super Bowl. We're still winding into baseball
7
season.
days ago.
Yeah, no.
Not even 7 full days.
Yeah, it was 6 days and
18
amount
hours.
of minutes and
Yeah.
but yeah, no. I feel like I am becoming to sound like a broken record when I say this. Not always, but sometimes. But when you look, I feel like there's so many Rays fans, so many people in the Tampa community that are seeing the Rays going to Hillsborough. And they're seeing the Rays making these moves, and they're seeing this stuff happening, and they're pessimistic. They're looking down at this situation. I have to keep reiterating myself because maybe it's for my own sanity, maybe it's for other people. I don't really know. That there's so much to be looking forward to as a Rays fan, as a Bucks fan, as a Lightning fan, as a USF Bulls fan, as a Tampa fan, as a citizen here, as a person, as someone who watches sports and is involved. There is so much to be looking forward to, especially going into the 2026 baseball season, going to games at Tropicana Field, seeing the Rays play just as they used to back at the old Gray Lady. So much discussion to be had about the new Hillsborough Community College Stadium that will be going in there eventually very soon. But I feel like we're rushing too far ahead. We're moving so far ahead. We're focused so far in the
baseball
future.
games for the Tampa Bay Rays in 6 days. That's what we should be looking forward to.
Exactly. It's 3 years versus 6 days. We have spring training in 6 days. They're back in the Trop in late March, early April for the first spring training. Well, no, actually not this year because they're rebuilding the Trop, but they're going to be back in April. They're going to be back
April
there.
6th, be there. Be there or be square.
Yeah, what I was saying there is I'm usually, used to the Rays having like the first couple of spring training games in the Trop before they have the
Last
official
couple.
first pitch.
Yeah,
the last couple.
Yeah.
The first couple of spring training before the first regular season games.
Yeah.
But they won't be having that this year. Obviously, got to get the Trop fully ready for opening day first pitch. But we are wrapping up right now. It is about 12 on the clock in our Body Armor Coca-Cola studios in USA Today's #1 ranked sports bar in all of the United States, Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill. It has been Tristan with Jake on Between the Lines live for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, watching on Radio St. Pete, Florida Sports Streams, YouTube, anywhere you may have tuned in or listened. We appreciate you and have a great week.